So the news told me something to do, so I did something like 10 times more aggressive than that. And figuring that I'll be able to make some money while the other people won't really be able to make nothing. It's usually how it works. And so, yeah, it's going well. I bought this maybe 5 minutes ago. I'm going to wait till, so I bought it at the strike. If you look at this, it says plus 25 RKT March 5th. That means it expires this Friday, and I bought it at $36. So if it goes to $36, it's in the money. Well, basically, every percent that it increases to get to $36 rapidly increases the amount of profits I gain the later the percent is. So like right now you see $1,800, you might think that's a lot, but like if I wait till the $36 mark, that last $1, so from 30 or 35 to 36, I'll make as much as all the gains I made all the way up until then. So like it makes sense to hold it, but also if you hold too long, like you may never, like most of the time you never get to see that high, but the market's going crazy right now. This is amazing. Let's go get it. I want to sell at 36, but I don't want to put in an order because nobody in the whole world can tell you what the bid and ask price is going to be at 36. I just know it's going to be super high. I'm thinking like $29, so like 10 times this, so I'll probably have like 20 grand, maybe 30 if I'm lucky. But like, I mean, that's just a guess right there. I mean, it could be twice as high or twice as low or half as much. But yeah, I mean, we're about to find out, I think. Let's go right now. $3 more. I've lost so much money in the last 2 days because I just bet all the options on this week and next week that GME and AMC are going to pop. If it doesn't happen by then, I got to raise some more money and get it back in, and I'll be more conservative with the next round, but I just got a huge feeling it's all happening right now, so. They're pushing all the money to prop up every other company but GME and AMC, and they're driving AMC as low and GME as low as they possibly can. And they've been doing it for so long that now the pressure's built so high that AMC and GME just keep fighting it off and only find new highs for the last 3 days, 4 days, 5 days maybe even. It's been up, 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 up. And every time it goes up, it comes a little bit down, but then it goes up again. And I just think we're at the end game right now. So let's go right now. We got Rocket Mortgage down here at the top or bottom left corner. So if we remember the price that we're at, let's go to portfolio, Rocket. So we're at 3,700 profit right now. We basically almost doubled our money. Not quite yet. We're getting there. And we still got $3 more to go. So we're at 32.90 right now when we got that much. So let's screenshot that. That'll work. Now, let's go to the front page. So if Rocket gets to $34, we'll check it again. Otherwise, let's just hang out and see what GME does. I can't tell if GME or AMC is going to go first now. AMC's really never truly had to be halted a second time since January, which is interesting. GME's had to be halted a dozen times, so like it's just always popping. And on the Wednesday and Thursday pop, they didn't halt it until after like almost 200%, and so I made a fortune already. And now I just basically throw it all back into here and let's see what happens. As long as it happens by next Friday, not this Friday, but next Friday, I've made a lot of money. But I also bet that Riot and Tesla are going to crash hard, so they're headed in the right direction. Let's go Rocket. I feel like GME is not going to pop until Rocket pops first, but it's taking too long. Despite the rise in interest rates, so a lot of folks keeping track of that gold trade. And then the stock of the day is full of action. It's being mentioned on those internet chat boards like on Reddit, the Wall Street Bets board, places like that. A lot of mentions for rocket companies. Take it RKT. That stock is up 35%, near the highs of the session so far, $32.80. That move higher in just the last 3 sessions is roughly 65% to the upside. Some traders think it is a highly shorted name. A lot of bets against it, which could lead to upside price momentum if those bets go against them. So keep an eye on RKT, the latest one of these stocks, to see some unusual trading activity around those internet chat forums. Brian, I'll send things back over to you. Yeah, Dom, I don't know if I can call it audible or whatever, but have you seen some of the TV networks lately? The Fox, FOX, up another 8% today, up 30% this year. Discovery, I kind of half joked last week. I said, apparently TV is the new TV. Investors are loving some of these TV companies as well. Not like we're talking our book or anything. No, traditional media companies, traditional TV companies that have some streaming components to them. But for the longest time, it was about the Netflixes of the world. Now it's become this idea that you can have a Discovery Communications, perhaps a Disney, everybody else out there. Fox is on fire right now with regard to its stock. But just take a look at some of these names. Over the last year, Discovery's up 123%. Many of these traditional media names are catching a lot more attention. Viacom also one that's getting some near-term positivity in terms of trader mentions and analyst mentions as well. So again, watch those media companies, especially if they've got a new streaming strategy. Of course, Viacom and Discovery Communications, all of those types of stocks are doing very well. A lot of these have already come out with new strategies. Viacom CBS up 1.75% right now. Remember, Paramount Plus is their new streaming network being rebranded from CBS All Access. That kicks off again this month as well. Alright, let's go back and watch the options for a little bit, and then I'll probably hang this up. Just so you can see how the price moves. Alright, everybody's watching regular TV. Alright. Well, despite the slight pullback in the market, overall we're still holding some impressive gains this year, and the money simply continues to pour in. In fact, in February, a record amount of cash poured into stock ETFs as investors bet on growth from vaccines and additional stimulus, or see all the above. All this prompting Bank of America to warn the level of Wall Street bullishness, though, now getting close to a sell signal.
it's tough to look back historically and find a good comparison with a pandemic-induced recession. But what happened yesterday? Simply the market recovering from what was essentially a panic attack last week in reaction to inflationary fears, and the bond market moved. But the markets, both bonds and stocks, tend to overshoot in both directions, right? Whereas the economy is not as bipolar. It doesn't move from freezing cold to burning hot in the blink of an eye. And right now, we are in a reflationary environment, not an inflationary environment. Last year, we had what was equivalent to an economic flat tire, right? We went basically flat in March, and there's quite a bit of room here to reflate or reinflate the economy. There's slack in the labor markets. Labor force participation rate is down. Uh, the output gap is as large, I think, as I've ever seen it. It's sort of close to historical large. It's in the trillions. And herd immunity, I mean, even Tony the Fauci doesn't want to bet on the over-under in that one. It's 2022 at the earliest before we get global herd immunity. So there's plenty of room to have some inflation with healthy economic growth here. And so we're on the reflationary trade, not the inflationary trade.
Global in 2022. I take the deep under on that, by the way, just for the United States. Nancy, okay, there are huge swaths of the American economy that are actually doing well. The New York Times had a really fascinating piece today that state budgets that were, the quote experts said were going to be destroyed by the lockdowns are actually now flat. In fact, some states are well up in 2020 from 2019. Travel, leisure, and hospitality, completely different story, still a depression in that area. My point is this: we're talking about adding nearly $2 trillion to the American economy. Will that push us over the edge on inflation?
Well, the Fed, to your point, Brian, they want inflation, right? Their goal is to get the economy in growth, to get the unemployment rate down. Reflation is definitely the name of the game right now, but I think the big question is whether, we are going to have inflationary pressures. And I don't necessarily think that would be a negative thing for equity markets. Quite frankly, higher 10-year yields would be a more healthy sign for markets because it would mean more banks extend capital to Main Street. Lenders are short term, they lend long term. So unless we have a healthy upward sloping yield curve, we can't get capital to Main Street. So I don't think the market should be worried about higher 10-year rates. I think they should be worried about higher front-dated rates, policy rates.
But this, Rich, again, to your point earlier, without getting into the science, this is not a financial crisis. Okay, this is not 2007 to 2008. It's a financial crisis if you're in transportation or travel, hospitality, and leisure. Every other sector of the economy has been adding jobs. The only way the Fed can maximize employment is if they vaccinate everybody tomorrow, I assume. And I'm being a little tongue-in-cheek, right? This is not a traditional financial thing where monetary or fiscal policy are going to help.
Well, yeah, I may disagree or take the other side on that one. Fiscal stimulus, monetary stimulus, these are necessary to get back just to where we were pre-pandemic. I mean, what were we down? About 4 or 5% real GDP in 2020. So it's going to take 5-6% real growth this year just to get back to even. And that requires some massive fiscal stimulus to replace the lack of consumer demand we saw last year. Yes, it's a close call.
But that's only in one sector of the economy, Rich. It's only travel, leisure, and hospitality. That's it. Every other sector of the economy is doing well.
Some of the growth sectors certainly have
done. $2 more. Let's go.
I got to live in my basement like I've been doing every week, quarantining in my own home. That's our problem.
How much do you want to get out of the house? How much do you want to go someplace different and get out? And I think that's really that pent-up growth, that what you're seeing in the equity market, it's starting to price in a normalization because I want to get out of my house. I'm tired of being here. I can't wait to travel again, go out to restaurants again, enjoy hospitality, leisure. So all those sectors that have been
Listen, to your point yesterday, Meg, we will be fully vaccinated here. Probably by summer, at least we'll have enough doses. This is a global problem. To Rich Weiss's point, maybe 2022 for the world next year. So an important part of getting this out for everybody else, not just the United States. Meg Terrell, thank you as always. All right, on deck. A big exclusive with one of the biggest names in investing. Literally. Guggenheim's Scott Minerd on the recent bond blowout and why the markets, he says, are acting like a drunk man in the snow. And are you looking to get into the electric vehicle craze, but, don't have 80 grand sitting around to buy an electric car? Maybe you think Tesla stock is overvalued? Don't worry. We've got an under-the-radar name that is outside the industry, but connected. It's been soaring, and it's up 50% this year. Who is that mystery chart? We'll let you know. We're back right after this.
This is The Exchange on CNBC.
We all want to feel safe in the places we spend our time. Restaurants, theaters, stores.
Hotels, stadiums,
Offices, banks, childcare centers, and schools.
I'm Dr. Richard Carmona. This is the Well Health Safety Seal from the International Well Building Institute, the global authority on healthy buildings.
when you see the Well Health Safety Seal, it means health and safety measures
have met rigorous scientific standards.
So look for the Well Health Safety Seal outside and feel more confident going inside.
Stop hodling high fees. Osprey Bitcoin Trust is the lowest cost tradable Bitcoin product. Hold in your brokerage account or your IRA. No wallet, no keys.
Game-changing industries on the path forward.
3D printing is now making its way to building houses.
Vaccine breakthroughs on Mars. Improving supply chain access. Stay connected, stay informed. Watch or listen live on the CNBC app.
Right now we have a dead cheap JPEG. Big heart who thinks it's not a story about inflation. Because so many people are out of work because of the pandemic. So he doesn't want to raise rates. Especially since inflation's been so low for so long. Watch or listen live on the CNBC app.
Hey, I'm Nick. We created Gap.
God, man. If you want to make that sandwich the real deal, you gotta focus on the bread layers. King's Hawaiian sliced bread makes everything better.
Honey, why is Anxiety in our kitchen?
I don't.
I'm booking you a one-way ticket to Flavor Town for the King's Hawaiian meatball stub. I gotta go. Your neighbor needs King's Hawaiian bread.
Everything's better between King's Hawaiian bread.
Man, I got you.
Yeah.
It's all about feeling what the piece of wood in front of me is meant to be. Creating a functional piece that is also beautiful. I know there are others, and I want them to find it. I'm Matt's, and I put myself out there with GoDaddy.
It's a familiar story. Allergies ruining your sleep and next day too. Taking Xylitol at night relieves allergies while you sleep, so you wake refreshed. Plus, it works faster than Claritin, and your first dose provides the same relief as Zyrtec at nearly half the size. Be wise all. Take Xylitol at night.
All right, welcome back. As promised before the break, Morgan Stanley eyeing an under-the-radar electric vehicle play and issuing coverage of MP Materials with a buy rating. MP is the only major U.S. miner of rare earth materials that are used to make magnets. They go into 90% of our electric vehicles. Stock is up about 7% today. If you look at the run it's had during the past 6 months, of about 240%. Now, this is where you roll a video, guys, of me at their mine in Mountain Pass, California. If you remember 2 years ago, we were out there when they were still a private company. This accounts for most of the rare earth material mined in the United States. Again, cue the video. Morgan Stanley's Carlos de Alba joining us now by phone to make the case for MP. Carlos, one of the few companies where I actually could say I've been to their only asset. Been out there on the Nevada state line with Jim Litinsky and some of his team. Certainly on MP Materials, competition, Chinese competition, how they have to send it there to process large parts of it. What makes you bullish on the MP story?
Yeah, this is a very exciting asset that they have, an opportunity that they're exploiting. What makes us be positive on MP
You're gonna have to bet on the 2 weeks after that for us.
Yeah,
there are two particular key markets for them, for the NDR, in the DR, which are the easiest way to pronounce elements they will use. One of those is electric vehicles, and the second is wind turbines.
Can you know?
Transformation that we're experiencing today in the auto sector, it is going to be very important for rare earths as they consume
25K.
2.8 kilograms per electric
Could make
vehicle,
10 mil.
and that compares with less than 1 kilogram, around 0.8 kilograms per current,
By 2 weeks worth of time.
combustion engine car that we drive today. And when you look at the
Another 10K.
those that are offshore are the ones that really will
Million.
drive the demand
If either crash.
type of magnets that you
Crash too.
that MP produces. Those consume around
I know.
650 kilograms of permanent magnet per megawatt of
Oh,
electricity versus the between 80 to 160 kilograms per megawatt that are used in the
nothing
wind
happened.
turbines that we use today.
2 weeks.
Carlos de Alba, the 50
Nothing happens in 2
price target
weeks.
still sees about 10+% of upside there on MP materials.